I'm joined by Mary Catherine Ham of Getting Hammered, the podcast that is the Fetching Mrs. Hewitt's go-to podcast. Good morning, Mary Catherine. How are you?
Good morning, Hugh. I'm doing good.
So, Mary Catherine, yesterday I had a moment with Mayor Suarez of Miami, which was unfortunate for him, but he chose to recover from it in a bad way. I asked him about the Uyghurs. He had no idea what they were, and he said, "What's a
Yeah.
Uyghur?" And then he made a joke, etc. What do you do when you're asked a question you don't know the answer to?
Well, it depends. Sometimes you can take it a slightly different direction, as TV people are wont to do, if if they don't want to answer the question they are presented with. However, sometimes you just have to say, "I don't know the answer to that question, and I would like to learn more about it."
That's it. What are you talking about? I'm unfamiliar with the term Uyghur. That would be
Yeah.
fine. It wouldn't be great for your presidential campaign, but it's better than saying I didn't understand Hugh's pronunciation because I just played his super clip of 25 people saying Uyghurs, and they all say Uyghurs the same way. What do you think
Right.
about a mayor running who doesn't know about the Uyghurs?
I think that it betrays a little bit of inexperience on foreign policy, and something that you should be basically conversant in, and that is one of the dangers if you've been doing only domestic issues and you jump into a presidential race, and one that you should be briefed on. And when you run into that problem, you kind of just need to say, "Oops," and let me learn more.
No, Mary Catherine Ham, I always tell people who are running for office, don't spend a dime until you've got 4 months of the election. So don't hire staff, don't do polling, don't do a thing. It doesn't matter. You're not going to refine your message. Just work the crowd and learn. If you were advising a presidential campaign, how would you get them smart about China? And obviously doing it for free because I just said, no one should be paid on a presidential campaign.
Yeah, I mean, the main thing I think is just to talk to people who know about these things, right? You're going to formulate your own thoughts because you're a candidate and you think that you have something special to offer, right? But that doesn't mean that you know all the answers already. So talk to people who know things, talk to people who study China. And again, it doesn't mean that their lines are your lines, but you do need to understand why people want to hear about this issue. You need to understand why people feel threatened economically and that this is a real thing. You need to understand perhaps that, like, I don't know, the past 3 years of our lives were completely disrupted because of a virus that came from China, and maybe the World Health Organization in the U.S. should do something about that to hold them accountable. And these are things that you should be able to talk about.
Mary Catherine, I've interviewed tens of thousands of people over 33 years on the radio, and you and your friend Guy Benson and Vic you've interviewed thousands of people. I am curious, when you sat down to do an interview, do you have a prepared list of questions?
Generally, yes, but that doesn't mean that I always ask those questions, because I think the conversation can be more interesting if you're going where someone wants to talk, right? If you stumble on stories and insights that are different than what you have questions for, obviously that's important. And you, Hugh, of course, know that the follow-up question is key, right? You don't want to leave stuff laying on the table, and candidates need follow-up questions because they deserve the audience deserves you pushing them on things.
You need to listen to the answer. I have seen so many people blow right past. Wait,
Right.
what did they say? And then they just not listening. Mary Catherine, when you and Vic sit down to do Getting Hammered, do you have a
Right.
script?
We don't have a script, but we are prepped on stories, and we toss them around after that. But like I said, part of TV and radio is just the organic part where you let the personalities fly a little bit, and I think that can be really valuable. So scripting doesn't work for me. I like to sort of wing it a little bit, not
Okay,
entirely.
this is
but a little.
unscripted. Ohio State has the second strongest recruiting class in the United States this year. Number one is your alma mater. I am
Yes.
just curious if you expect a third national title. Never been done, right? Hadn't been
You
done.
know what? I don't want to get greedy, Hugh, but Kirby is quite the recruiter and quite the coach, and we've had a little run here. And you know what? It was a drought for 41 years, so I feel like we had it coming eventually. But I never want to count my chickens before they hatch. My national championship, back-to-back chickens before they hatch.
Does Vic have a team, or does Vic is he as Kurt Schlickler like to say he doesn't do sports ball? Does Vic do sports ball?
He does sports ball, but he is afflicted with being a Georgetown man.
Oh, the
So
poor man.
there's not much sports ball to be had at the moment.
Do you know they actually have a football team at Georgetown? Did you know that?
So I've heard. So I've
I
heard.
didn't know that until like 3 months ago. I said, no, they don't. They
Yeah.
play basketball. They really do it. Who do they play? I guess they play in the ACC, but I've never heard of it.
It's I think probably some people who go there haven't heard of it.
Yeah, that is maybe you can get Vic on why. I bet you he never went to a game. I'll bet you he never went to a game at
He
Georgetown.
he definitely went to basketball games. We've talked about that before, but I don't know about the football. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so. And yesterday I had someone talking to me about the University of Tennessee baseball team because that's all they got to hold on to. Every school has something to hold on to unless you're Ohio State or Georgia. And we should have beat Georgia. Have we talked about that yet, that Noah Ruggles should have hit that?
You know what? Go Dogs.
Mary Katherine Ham, follow her on Twitter at NK Hammer. And do go and get and download, subscribe to Getting Hammered with Mary Katherine and Vic Mattis.